Welcome back for Kwanzaa week. There's a lot to celebrate. For me, this year has really been about purpose. At the beginning of this year, I had finally decided that I was done being a person of just theory, and I wanted to start putting my faith into action. And I knew that that started by just putting myself out there and meeting people and starting to get connected. But I was sort of overwhelmed by all of that. I don't know, I just don't connect with people easily, and I knew that it's something that I needed to do, but it can be hard. It can be a challenge. That's when I actually ran into the first major defining book of 2018 for me. And that was Essentialism by this guy. So the basic premise of the book is that we try to pack too many things into our lives. And in doing so, we end up overwhelmed and we can't actually contribute at our highest level at any of those things. Basically, it's impossible to give everything 100%. So we balance out by giving 10% to 10 things. So what McEwen suggests is that instead of focusing on so many things, decide what's important to you and then go hard for those things, as hard as you possibly can. It was eye-opening for me. I was like, okay, I think I can do that. When I decided that I wanted to commit to investing in people, I thought that meant that I needed to invest in as many people as possible, no matter what, and just go for it. This book basically gave me permission to not, and to just let that go, and to instead focus on the things that I can be really, really good at and do those things well. So that was my first thing. That brought me to the next foundational book of 2018, and that was The Radical King. This book helped me to reimagine the specific methodology of achieving the goals that I had set out to do. Martin Luther King Jr. was a brilliant organizer. His theories and practices and practical steps for how to turn an idea into a movement was and is still mind-blowing to me. And I actually might even reread that book in 2019 because it's such good material. I also really appreciated his insight because he was a religious leader, and that's something that is important to me. I've always wanted to be able to take my whole self into everything that I'm doing, and especially coming from the Essentialism book, I knew that that was foundational to me being able to contribute the best that I possibly could. So combining those two books just set me up in a perfect place to receive the third, foundational book of 2018, Brené Brown's Dare to Lead. And this book, for those of you who are not familiar with Brené Brown, I'll link to some of her TED Talks below. But her work focuses on vulnerability and leading from your heart. And for me, at least, that's a very scary thing. I'm good at details, I'm good at facts, I'm good at logic, but the heart stuff, I mainly leave that to Beth. But this book breaks down and explains the strength in vulnerability. And she uses facts and logic and research to show just how powerful of a tool it is to connecting people and to building really the world that I want to bring. Another really cool part of that book is her section on values. And she gives basically this long list of all of the values that people say that they believe in. And similar to the Essentialism book, she makes the argument that we can honestly, as human beings, only focus on one thing at a time, or one or two things at a time. So, and because of that, often the main ethical dilemmas that we run into are when the long list of values that we believe in seem to contradict each other. So, for example, I value being adaptable, but as an autistic person, I also really love routines and stability. So there often comes times in my life where I am trying to figure out which one of these things I most believe in, and I am stressed. And so Brienne recommends breaking it down to one or two main values that define what you want to get out of life and how you operate in the world. For me, I found that the two biggest motivators in my life are connections and my faith. On the connection side, I love seeing how processes work. I love systems, and I like really any connections, whether that be human or animal or the world or like the cosmos or like honestly anything. I get so excited about that stuff. They're connections to me. Then on the other side, my faith and relationship with God is so important to me. If any of you follow me on Instagram, you know I stay in the Word. I do daily reflections, and that's something that's really important to me to live my faith in action. And those things really come together in this like beautiful mess that is me. For me, the meeting point of my faith and my love for connections is all of you, and seeing you be the best that you can possibly be in this world. Where I fit is as a resource. I want to provide you with the most content that enriches your lives in a way that helps you to thrive in your community, in your space, in your world. And in that way, I think that we all thrive a little. So I'm excited to grow with you all, and Happy New Year.